Alright, what's going on, everybody? Rob here, aka Rob here. Trev2323 was my old handle. Alright, so this is my inner city homestead. I don't like using the word urban homestead, but that's the house, right? It sits on 5 lots. There's my van. It sits on 5 lots all the way back this way. Here's two of my conundrums. This is my property, and you know me, I don't like anything looking terrible at all, so I go on to clean all this up. And apparently at some point there was a sitting area back there where people would burn stuff and all that, fire pit. But this is an eyesore and a half. Now that is the neighbor's property right there. That going that way is one lot, and that going that way is another lot. My property goes this way, okay? But these are 2 tree stumps that turned over. So up to right here, the rest of the trees that way up to right here is mine, but that tree is braced off the ground. That tree's not on the ground, but the stump itself looks horrendous. If I can have somebody cut right down there and then cut this stump down, it'll be amazing. So I might cut this stump down with a chainsaw. But what is also amazing is I don't know if that was part of the tree that's trying to grow again, because the root is still in the ground, but there's something coming off of the stump, and there's something coming off of that stump. So what I plan on doing is getting a chainsaw and hacking this down as much as I can, and possibly even filling in some of this lower level with all that, and then putting some dirt on top of it, because I have a lot of dirt. 2 more things that I have to deal with is that I just hate when people use land for dumps. So I have to try to find somebody that will help me, because I know I'm overwhelmed with this already. Right, the property is really nice on the front. This actually was all maintained. I plan on going clover graft. That's a pear tree. I don't know what kind of tree that is, but apparently it gives some good shade right here. One of these is an apple tree, right? That's the dog run right here. But you see, this is all my land right here. It just looks horrendous. I want to get that all cleaned out, really, all cleaned out. But it's about 4 feet down, 6 feet down. See, that all goes down right there. And then there's the dump right here. This is what I am going to need help with. Apparently somebody that lived here, somebody lived anywhere, all over this area is a dump. I would love to actually just do a controlled burn and burn that crap, but I know I'm gonna need help getting all that out. That is atrocious. And then there's another pile over there, then there's another pile in the backyard. So there's a widowmaker already, a tree leaning down over here. There's no clear way to get from the back to over here. Let's go check. Now here's the other side of the property. This is all getting cut down. That looks horrendous. I'm gonna leaf blow that or whatever. I would like to asphalt this someday. Build down back to the garage, fence with a double fence into the backyard. They say they cut everything else down, but that was $1,500 to finish that. And this tree is actually on my property right here, all the way up there. So I have no idea what I'm gonna do with that. Now this is recent. Somebody dumped this right here. And there's a big story that I'm not going to get into on that burned down house right there. That's my rear view right there. Somebody recently dumped this right here, and then it goes all the way through to back here. So there's another pile that I got to get taken off from back there. But underneath that is good firewood. You see good firewood? They threw that on top of the good firewood. And then there's roofing shingles that got to come out. So with the 4-wheel or ATV or some type of vehicle, you could get back here to get all this cleared out. But I want all that crap cut down. All of that crap I want cut down. I don't want anything overgrown onto my property. Now there are actually beavers back here, because I did see a beaver, but I'm still trying to make my way. But this property, and they're just using it to store and scrap cars. Store and scrap cars and sell them for pieces right there. This is all trees that are down right here, but this is on my property also. All these down trees and everything, this is part of my property also. So I got to try to get this all cut down in stages. This has to be all cut down in order to access the dump on that side, or I have no idea how I'm going to access the dump on that side. But I'm going to start with a chainsaw and cut down everything that's not a big tree is actually coming down, right? So there's a big tree right there that is down, so that probably is the end of my property line. So all this is still my property. So we've been here for, let's see, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We've had the property for like 3 days already. Already overwhelmed.